a Terran player from South Korea. It is Cure.
And his opponent. In the top left-hand side in the blue, currently in second place in this group, but can top the group and earn that coveted bye into the round of 8. He is PartinG. Now, Grant, we would be remiss if we did not quickly go through the group, talk about what's at stake, where all of our players are now, and where they could all end up by the end of the day.
Do it, Creighton. I believe in you.
Great. We've got round-robin groups of 6 today, guys. That means 6 players playing 5 matches each. Every other player in their group will be competed against. The bottom 3 players, the players who have the poorest match scores and then the poorest map scores, will be eliminated from the competition. The good news is, if you're in 6th place, you still walk away with $2,500. If you're in 5th place, you walk away with $3,000. And if you're in 4th place, you walk away with $3,500. So you earn $500 for every place you get, even if you're eliminated. Not to mention, Grant, every match also worth $100 as a bonus.
Yeah, there's a lot of money on the line. Of course, what these players are fighting for, though, is one of those coveted top 3 spots. The player in first in this group will get a direct bye to the round of 8, the quarterfinals. And what that means is a minimum of $10,000. The players in second, third will go directly into the round of 12 and have to play one more round before hitting that quarterfinals. So it's all to play for, as well as, of course, rising prize pools and 100 buckaroo for every prize, every match that you win. And this match is going to start off a little bit explosive, as anticipated here, because PartinG has that proxy gateway.
Proxy gateway out, but look at this Reaper as if he knows something is going on, which is really interesting because Cure has not scouted, Grant. No SCV scout, no nothing. This Reaper going to pop up onto the high ground and will spot. Come on, no MLG, no MLG, no MLG. Spots it, sees the proxy gateway. Very nicely done. And Cure keeps it a secret. Did you notice that, Grant?
Yeah.
The Reaper has slightly higher vision range than the building gateway. So Cure has seen PartinG. PartinG does not know he's been spotted yet.
Completely correct there, Creighton, and we're seeing a couple more gateways go down here, so it's going to be a free gate pressure from PartinG, and it's going to be interesting to see how Cure opts to deal with this. Right now, he is getting the tech lab straight away onto his factory. Now, I imagine we're going to see a pretty quick Cyclone coming out. He may even opt to go for a very, very quick tank, but I think a Cyclone is one of the safest early game units. PartinG just making as many units as he can. He's still producing workers pretty consistently. There's that Cyclone. And yeah, a great start here from Cure. A very big scout.
Yeah, Warp Gate research finishing up here for PartinG again. Does not know he's been scouted. Thinks that he's about to catch Cure by surprise. Cure's Reaper has done a little bit of scouting here in the natural, so he knows a little bit about what's going on, but hasn't had the chance to get up to in the main. If you check Cure's vision, you'll see that this is a black hole lacking in information for him, and now PartinG Choo Choo is on the move with these first 5 attempts.
Yeah, these attempts are still a little bit scary, especially should Cure make any mistake. Marines, of course, do not trade so good against Adepts. Cyclones, on the other hand, a lot better. The natural, though, is going to be completely controlled for a considerable amount of time here by PartinG. That's pretty good for him, because he is mining extraordinarily efficiently from his natural. The main thing for PartinG right now is he hasn't got any tech at all, like bugger all. He is completely fresh out. We do see a Banshee coming in here as well from Cure that has been hidden in the back behind these walled off buildings here, and that's going to be completely unscouted here by PartinG. If PartinG doesn't see this and it gets across to the other side of the map and is stalking at the other side, it will be a huge probe pull. That's going to be a lot of lost mining time alongside the lack of tech. It will be difficult for the big boy to deal with.
Very interesting here, Grant, as we see PartinG trying to focus fire down that orbital command. Does start it on fire, but that means that Cure is going to be able to move out now that his tank is here to give a little bit more zone control and surface area on Cure's natural. He has that one brave little SCV in the field of battle repairing up that CC, and PartinG now is going to probably transition from what looked like a big aggressive attack into a more normal sort of contain, I think. The longer he can keep Cure back on 2 bases, the better chance he has to defend this third that he's just dropped. Of course, these Banshees now screaming across, or this Banshee now screaming across the map, and Cloak has in fact started up here, Grant.
PartinG has got himself a robo on the way. It's about 3/4 of the way done at home here, and if he can get that out, and if he can chrono out an observer, Cloak shouldn't be the biggest issue. but the Banshee is going to be a big issue. What I'm thinking right now, though, is, oh, this is big. So big here. Massive mistake by Cure. He actually lowered it as the Adepts were coming. Now, the Adepts have not marred up their shots just yet. Now starting to get that fixed, so they will be able to kill a few more workers. But the Scout has come in, and that should mean immediate chrono onto an Observer. As PartinG has seen what's coming, still hasn't started an Observer, which is a little bit concerning. He's got money in the bank to spare. Adding Gateways, getting that Observer now. As long as he has some Stalkers at home, he should be okay and not taking too much damage here.
Definitely. Cloak just finishing up here as the Banshee gets ready to move in, but Cure not controlling super well. There we go. Finally moving in. Will be a while, as you said before, PartinG's able to deal with this Banshee accordingly. The Observer will pop out soon, but 3, 4, 5, 6 probe kills, not too bad. And that's really good for PartinG that he was able to get into the main base of Cure and see, not just to pick off a couple of Adepts, but also to see that Cloak researching, buying him just a little bit of a couple extra precious seconds to defend against this Banshee, which will go down. Very nice snipe by PartinG, who finds himself in a decent spot now. 3 bases, Grant. Additional gates going down. Charge on the way. He's really building up to a reasonable Protoss army here, and Cure stuck on 2 bases, building his 3rd in the main.
Yeah, in terms of resources lost this game, it is pretty close, to be honest. Cure losing slightly more across the board. Losing those SCVs was a big hindrance in his plan here. If those Adepts hadn't got in, hadn't seen everything, we may have seen a slightly different outcome of that last fight, of the Banshee, of everything. So that was a mistake from Cure that PartinG will be very pleased to grab. He is now adding on a Forge. We do have a Raven already coming out. We're moving into just what is a normal mid game for now. Of course, it is PartinG, so you never know what normal is going to turn into. For now, we're seeing a Prism. We're seeing Zealot Charge come in after Blink. That Forge, as we said, is coming. He's going up to 8 gates off of 3 Nexi, which isn't uncommon by any means. A little quick break, maybe, off of how this game is panned out. But this is looking great so far. We're certainly looking like we may get a slightly longer game.
Very exciting. Interesting to note here, Cure is actually prioritizing building his barracks, Grant. If you notice, most Terran players, will build 1 barracks and then go up to 3 and then go up to 5. Cure going straight up to 5 barracks immediately. And PartinG is going to be able to take advantage of the fact that he's investing so much in infrastructure right now. With his Blink getting a lot of work done just out of siege tank range. Going to be able to rain some shots down on the orbital command as well. They're going to try and get on top of that tank, but don't want to eat too much tank fire. Tanks eat Stalkers for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, Grant.
Yeah, some nice control here from PartinG. He's using the orbital to sort of block the path to create a funnel for the Marines so they couldn't come in and commit to any fights. Of course, Stim is also not done to move them around quicker. And we have a lot of Zealots coming in right now. Every tank that goes down is a little bit less splash damage on top of these Zealots. We do see the Stalkers right now just poking in, trying to keep that wall limited. Oh, they don't get the kill. That's so sad. 1 Stalker going to run forward. Hey! Cool guys don't look at explosions. +1 coming, and that is Quick Storm here from PartinG. He's completely skipped the Robotics Bay, as far as I'm aware. Yep, going up to a faster Storm. And if PartinG can get Storm, if he can keep this contained, keep Cure on 2 bases, we can already see the supply is opening up a bit in PartinG's favor. And Cure could be in for a world of pain.
This is a really nice calculated risk here from PartinG. Leave these Stalkers on the other side of the map where they're in danger of getting caught by surprise by a tank on the high ground. Warping these Zealots across the map, leaving not as much back home to defend your extra base that you've taken somewhat greedily to 12 o'clock, but at the same time, holding Cure back on 2 bases. Grant, this 3rd orbital command has been here now for eons, probably 2 or 3 minutes. It's been an orbital command now, and it's producing SCVs, which is great, but look at these bases, Grant. 15 of 12, 29 of 16. Cure has got to break out of this contain. The longer he sits in it, the more PartinG expands.
Yeah, Cure is going all the way up to Ghosts and Enhanced Shockwaves before he tries to break out, which to me feels a little wild. He has plenty of army supply. He could have forced PartinG back a while ago. I'm not sure if he's aware of the fact that PartinG does have quite a few units here. I've not seen where he's been scanning. I'm going to take a quick look at his vision. Yeah, he has scanned the main and things like that. And now he scans. He'll probably just try and take down this Observer and force these Stalkers away, which is all nice and good here. But Storm is now done. Enhanced Shockwaves is not. There are actually no high temperatures for Storms on the field. Oh, there they are, coming from the left-hand side. And now we see a big surround coming. The tank's not able to fire on everything. A lot of Stalkers to the left, not in the fight right now. Now they blink forward. This is a big committed attack here from PartinG. PartinG up 30 supply. Creighton, is he going to be able to finish it, though?
Man, it's going to be very, very close here. We see the reinforcements, of course, defender's advantage in Cure's favor here. PartinG doing a really nice job, though, and he's going to get the third base. So, Grant, even if his army gets destroyed here and he has to recall home or loses his position and some tempo in this game, I think PartinG can still consider this a win. He's on 4 bases to Cure's 2. He's taken out most of the siege tanks here. There's no real heavy artillery left here for Cure. And PartinG now pressuring on the natural. He still has a Warp Prism. He still has Storms. He still has Archons. He still has all the pieces and parts of his army that he absolutely needs. Despite getting EMP'd there, I love PartinG's position here.
The storm drops from PartinG are incredibly good, definitely using the fact that we're on the Korean server with no ping. And now we see PartinG is in between the main and the natural. The SCVs are pulled into double Archon. See ya, nerds. 21 go down, Cure goes down, PartinG picks up map 1.
That's a great result for PartinG. Grant, remember, PartinG is one of 2 players tied for first place right now in the match score. Both Rogue and PartinG have a 3-1 score. So if PartinG is able to win this one, he will not only, well, if he wins this one and Rogue drops a game, wait, who won versus PartinG versus Rogue? PartinG, Rogue, PartinG, Rogue. PartinG beat Rogue. So if Rogue drops a single game, and PartinG wins this 2-0, he's going to steal that first place spot from Rogue, Grant. Could be huge. And of course, if his opponent loses this one, Cure loses this one, he's in a lot of trouble, dropping down to a 2-3 record.
Yeah, this keeps the group very interesting. Another thing to point out here is Neeb's life is still in the balance in this series, and there's a lot of people trying to figure out how this goes for Neeb. We're not going to sit here and do cast math right now because we will mess it up. It's going to go wrong.
No, here I am. Okay. Ruffy already did it on Twitter. Let me scroll my Twitter here.
I trust him.
Ruffy
He's
says,
like a genius.
Okay, Neeb has to win and PartinG has to win. So that seems to be it.
Is Neeb
seems
winning?
Easy.
0-0 according to Liquipedia. Rogue is 1-0 up against Ragnarok as an update. This group could get so weird.
It definitely could. We're on Oxide LE for game number 2, Grant. PartinG with a strong win over Cure, who's honestly has looked a little shaky in the last couple series, Grant. You know, we haven't had the good fortune to cast all of his games, but what I've caught of him on the A stream, I always catch the end of those games because we sort of tune in as soon as our stream is over because we have to wait for all the streams to catch up. But Cure has looked a little shaky on and off against Terran players, against Protoss players, and against Zerg players every time I've tuned in right now at the end game. So I'm not sure mentally how Cure is feeling right now, but a loss in game 1 to PartinG is certainly not helping.
No, definitely. And I think that's a very good turn of phrase right there, because we are in the end game of this group, of the group stage. This is like when all the Avengers came and they fought the guy with the chin. I don't know.
I didn't watch it.
No, me neither. For now, though, we have another map here on Oxide. We have loaded in our player in the bottom left. He is the big boy. He has a giant heart. And he is currently teamless, so pick him up, guys. Hailing from South Korea, the blue Protoss player, it's PartinG.
And his opponent in the top right-hand side in the red, representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming, DPG, that Chinese team. It is our South Korean Terran player. His life hangs in the balance, Grant. It's Cure.
Yeah, his fate is in his own hands. Everyone's right now is. This is going to be a very, very fascinating turn of events no matter what. And once again, it is going to be up to Cure to deal with whatever comes his way. Now, unfortunately, we have not seen any Kata builds, any of those 12 pylon proxy Stargates coming in from PartinG. A bunch of people very excited in one of the Discords I'm in for PartinG to try that build. He hasn't done it. Sorry, boys. Instead, Gateway up here on the high ground. No wall, no nothing. PartinG going Gate, Nexus, and PvT. Not even the most common. Quite often you'll see the Cybernetics score, because if there is a Reaper and you go for this build, the Reaper does hit just before your first unit, although an Adept comes out just in time, really. And let's see what PartinG's going to aim to do here.
Very, very jazzed. I'm also curious what Cure's up to here. We've seen him open with Reaper expands most of the time against Protoss players. Usually that's pretty common, of course. We've seen a trend of some more Marine expands coming out. Gives you a little more DPS back home. Your Reaper generally doesn't do that much against a Protoss player. But I think because he didn't scout last game and it came back to bite him just a little bit, that proxy, I don't even know if he ever saw, he saw the proxy gateway, but he didn't really respond to it, and he didn't know where the pressure was coming from PartinG. So the lack of scouting last game really hurting Cure a little bit. And this game, he's going to do a similar build here, but try and get across the field first, across the map first.
Yeah, but talking of similar builds, take a look at that proxy at the 12 o'clock point, Creighton, because PartinG is doing the same thing twice as well here. Proxy gateway sitting up at the north-hand side of the map. and PartinG is looking to be a nuisance to his opponent. Now, we do see Cure moving out of his Reaper, scouting everywhere. And how often do you see a player just go for a blind CC in their main instead of putting it at the natural? Let's talk about fear.
That's 2 games in a row as well.
Yeah, that is purely and simply fear of what he's playing against. He'd rather take that very slight economic loss than get cannon rushed or have to deal with a max build or something, anything that PartinG is capable of. Once again, very quick tech lab as well onto the factory, and we can see even a bunker coming down at home here. Cure is playing as safe as he possibly could. Can you imagine if PartinG had a third Nexus at this point?
Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying.
2-1-1
absolutely terrifying. So we've got 2 barracks coming down from Cure. 2-1-1 is going to be the build order, I believe. And with that bunker down and the proxy gateway from PartinG, we are going to see similar pressure to last game.
Yeah, I don't think PartinG will commit quite as heavily this game. The bunker changes things a little. You can't sit on the low ground for as long as he did with Stalkers and Zealots. And of course, there's probably going to be a very quick siege tank once again. And that is the case here before even the Cyclone. This is literally like Cure has wrapped himself in a bubble wrap and he's saying, oh, that was so close. And he's sitting there right now just scared of what might happen. And once again, PartinG has actually managed to find himself a bit of a position here on the natural. The siege tank, though, will be able to push this back. PartinG is probably laughing at the fact that there's a siege tank in 3.5 minutes.
Yeah.
He sees a whole bunch of Marines as well. He doesn't know about the 2-1-1 yet. There's no way, PartinG. Don't do it, PartinG. Oh, he's going to do it.
PartinG. He's diving really deep here, Grant. I disagree with this really intensely. Siege tanks do a lot of DPS, even when they're not sieged up. And we're going to see PartinG losing all of his adepts and one of his stalkers here. That was a huge loss for PartinG. Again, I wish I could see what the battle report looks like. It's just not quite. We're not able to pull it up here. But Cure taking the advantage certainly there in that series, in that matchup. And we're going to see Cure with Stim on the way and 2 siege tanks out, defending his home turf and looking for a push at some point soon.
I wouldn't be remiss to seeing him just go here. He's going to push out here and try and take control of the space between his natural and his third. In map 1, Cure was never allowed a third. PartinG just choked him and wouldn't let him anywhere near it. This time, PartinG does have a quicker third. Once again, it is already a quarter of the way done. It's not by any means the fastest, but it's very, very well timed. He has got a Twilight Council, although he didn't ever start any upgrades from it, or hasn't yet. He's getting a Robo as well. Is this going to be a dart? No, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blink is now coming. That's a little later than it probably was ideally. PartinG still has these Stalkers on the map. And one thing we've seen today, and if I was to talk about anything PartinG has done and give him praise, aside from cannons, it would be using small groups of Stalkers, like, so efficiently. Against Rogue, he constantly had them flanking and poking and prodding and killing just a unit or two whilst not losing any. So good.
Absolutely. That's one thing that PartinG has shown us all day that he is fantastic at. I love this. We were both like, oh, could it be DTs? And Cure is like, oh, could it be DTs? Yeah. The missile turret there in the natural just to be absolutely safe. This is the price you pay, though, for not scouting. Again, it checked Cure's vision, Grant. He has seen absolutely nothing. Not the main, not the natural, not the third. Cure playing with a blindfold on like he's in Bird Box, the movie right now, trying to rely on his macro and his fantastic army control to win this game. Again, PartinG doing a great job with those Blink Stalkers.
Yeah, the Observer as well, finding a great position there over the impassable terrain. Does mean it's able to keep a lot of vision on the main and the natural and the move out between the natural and the third. PartinG moving into Robotics Bay this game. He knows he can't do what he did in the last game. He knows he has to give up a bit more ground. And I like it. He's, you see some players, and they're kind of a one-trick pony where they're going to do this build and they're going to throw everything at you non-stop. PartinG knows when to fall back. We've seen that today. He hasn't been quite as aggressive consistently as Zest. And talk about aggressive, there goes combat shields. And he's going to get the medevacs too, or at least one of them. Very nice pickups here. Tanks on the high ground. Oh, one Stalker left behind. But a great pickup there for PartinG. He cannot be too mad at that.
Yeah, combat shields is going to slow Cure down even more. Now, I don't know that Cure was looking for a really aggressive push, so I don't think that's going to ruin his entire plan for the entire game. But look at what's starting back home for PartinG. Already, we've got Colossi. We've got that ETL, Extended Thermal Lance upgrade coming out now for these Colossi as well. With a second Robo almost certainly on the way soon from PartinG, Grant, I expect we'll see some really heavy Colossus play into Disruptors. And as long as PartinG controls the army and has a good ground army underneath those Colossi, he's going to be in absolutely fantastic shape to take out this strong bio army that Cure is going for.
I'm very curious right now, Creighton, because PartinG went in, he saw one barracks, or he saw the 2 racks. He hasn't seen that northernmost barracks, or hadn't seen it for a long time. He killed something researching from a tech lab. Does he think he killed Stim? Could he overextend based on the fact that he thinks, there's no Stim, I'm just going to go? It doesn't look like it. It looks like he is going to play it a little safe here, because if you know your opponent has no Stim, you just get 2 Colossus and you go with a Prism.
That would be a very, very, very late stim, Grant. Very late stim. Little kills here with the Widowmine shots going down to the main. 5 kills so far. This Widowmine drop doing a nice job. Gonna get 2 or 3 more here. Make it 8. Very nicely done. And of course, there's no observer out for PartinG because, or there are 3 observers, but they're not back home for PartinG because he's been focusing on these Colossi lately. So it's gonna be a while before these Widowmines that do automatically have Cloak are discovered.
Yeah, this is cool. PartinG made a lot of observers. I'm very surprised he didn't bring one home quickly. Obviously, I love any Protoss player that makes a whole bunch of observers, but we're going to see 2 more go down now. This is just a little bit too much damage that PartinG's taking. That being said, he is still nearly at 60 workers, and he already has his Colossus. He has his power units. He has Zealot Charge. He's near to +1, but this drop in his main, completely unscouted, going to do a whole bunch of damage. And PartinG right now needs to regroup. He needs to deal with this. It does look like he's maybe being a little bit indecisive in the middle of the map.
Oh man,
this is rough.
This game right now, just like the Fellowship of the Ring, its quest stands on a knife's edge. If PartinG is able to defend and buy himself a lot of time to get his 4th base up and running and really push the economic advantage that he has against Cure, he'll be in a really good spot. And if Cure continues to throw away units like this, heaven knows he'll be in a good spot. He can't afford to lose tanks like this, Granny. He doesn't have the economy to throw these away. Now, PartinG's getting destroyed back home, of course. Dropping his 3rd base, dropping his main, probes going everywhere, forcing the recall out here. This is nice play from Cure, but look at PartinG's probe count, Grant. He's lost 11 probes, still ahead of Cure, and on twice as many bases. No 3rd CC for Cure at all.
Yeah, income is very, very even still, actually. I really thought PartinG would fall massively behind there. Did he lose his Colossus? No, he managed to keep both of them alive. That's a big, big save. And now we have this big drop coming in, but it's in a very, very ambitious position because PartinG's army is already here. We see the Widowmines trying to burrow. They get absolutely destructinated, as Creighton would say here, by those Protoss units. And PartinG pushes Cure back once again. He's continuing. He's now getting a Prism, and I think we're going to see PartinG just go.
You know, it seems to be the order of the day that Cure commits very hugely to these engagements and just doesn't quite make as much out of them as he'd like to. That one, I think, due to poor positioning. Occasionally, it's been due to poor micro as well. Even if PartinG loses this 4th base, which it looks like he will do, he's still a base ahead of Cure. And Grant, I know I keep saying that, but I've got to continue to harp on that fact because Cure is actually ahead economically right now. But as soon as his 2nd base mines out, he's going to be forced to take more and more bases more aggressively. And that means increasing the risk to him at being out on the map and across. And PartinG is a player who can smell risk in the air, just like Jaws can smell blood in the water.
Yeah, PartinG is playing well, but I'm a little concerned that maybe he's taking a little too much damage now. Another warping comes in, should be able to clean this up, but he can't afford to lose too many workers. He can't afford, he knows he's ahead in terms of economy if he can survive. He knows he has the base advantage, but he can't throw away everything. That being said, if he force fields a ramp right now and just kills every SCV, he's going to be in a pretty darn good spot, Creighton.
Cure also moving into the natural as well right now. This is disgusting. A little bit of a base trade, and it's like the 3rd or 4th base trade we've seen today in Group D. These players not learning their lesson, old man, that you never base trade a Terran player. That said, I like PartinG's position. I think if these armies go head-to-head, look at the army value tab. You'll see it's actually a lot more even than you might think. Cure's army is only barely slightly ahead of PartinG's in value, and PartinG's army, when all together, has a very, very strong synergy, especially with those Colossi with ETL, the Sentries, Stalkers, and Charge Slots. I like PartinG's position right now, but either player can still walk away with this. Yeah,
PartinG is massively down in supply. 0 workers left, Creighton. So this is going to be a pure base race, and I imagine what's going to happen is, the command center going to fly the frick away. And now we see PartinG actually going for a recall. He's going to try and save everything he can. He's killing a whole bunch of SCVs still, which is nice. He needs to because he has none of his own in terms of probes. PartinG can't even make another worker, Creighton.
No, he can't. He's really annoying. Widowmines in the main base going to prevent anything from happening. And Cure's doing a nice job of clearing this out. Cure's infrastructure still somewhat intact. He's got some barracks up. It looks like when all is said and done, Grant, the old maximum reigns true. Never, ever, ever base trade a Terran player.
Yeah, Cure this is pretty darn good for him. +2 finishing up as well. The Widow Mines are an unbreakable thing right now. There's no observer on the field, right? He had to kill his own units, I think, or will have to kill his own units in order to hit the Widow Mines. If he stands on top and targets his own Stalker, he'll hit a Widow Mine, but he can't afford to throw anything away. There's still a decent bio force of 10 Marines, 7 Marauders, 9 Medevacs. Does mean that the army supply is heavily tilted because there are so many, but they're also going to heal a lot when there's not as much DPS as PartinG would like to have. This is interesting. I can't see any way PartinG wins this, unfortunately, Graham.
No, high ground advantage going to help a lot, but a big aggressive stim forward from Cure here. He's going to jump right on top of PartinG. Obviously wants that Colossus as quickly as he can get it, but the disco lights of the Medevacs turn on, and the Colossus goes down, and Cure is going to stay fighting and bring us into a game 3.
Now the question is, what does this mean for the group? Still,
I have some bad news for you, Grant.
Neeb's out, right?
Neeb and Cure have both been eliminated due to the results in the other portions of the group. So no matter how valiantly Cure fights here, unfortunately, I think he has been relegated to that 4th place finish. The good news is this match still worth $100, still something on the line. And guys, $100 for a best of 3 in StarCraft 2 ain't bad at all. I've made players play best of 9s for $100 before, so this is pretty good money still for whoever wins, and of course, honor and glory on the line as always.
Yeah, this is the biggest tournament. This is our World Championships, our World Finals. You do not just roll over. We saw Trap and Dream yesterday in a series where they were both eliminated, play an incredible best of 3.
Oh.
It was so good, and they were so good about it, both saying in the lobbies how they're going to try their hardest no matter what, because it's the final series.
Oh, that was adorable.
Yeah, and it looks like I can very much imagine, even if Cure knows he's eliminated, he ain't going down without swinging. So
that's right.
Creighton, this is our last map of the tournament. No matter what happens, we're done.
It's bittersweet for us, but bittersweet for the players as well, Grant. Obviously, we started all 3 of these series for the end of the day at the same time. So Cure and PartinG have not had the chance yet to check out what the results are. As far as they know, they are both still fighting for their lives, which is great. I expect a knockdown, drag-out brawl. Gotta be careful, though, Grant, because the last time this happened, I was like, we got Rogue. It's game 3. Rogue's gonna play it slow. He's gonna go to the end of the game, and then Rogue just tried to 12-pool drill through his opponent. I looked like a real idiot. So, Grant, whatever happens here, this is going to be a great series, and it's been a great group stage at IEM Katowice so far.
Oh, phenomenal. And one final time, ladies and gentlemen, denizens of the internet, our player in the top left representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming. He is the Red Terran player from South Korea, one of the absolute best there is. It is Cure.
And his opponent in the bottom right-hand side in the blue, currently teamless, but not heartless. It is our blue Protoss player from South Korea. He's PartinG. Gateway on the low ground, Grant. I expect a Gateway Nexus here from PartinG.
Yeah.
Cure. I expect a Reaper expand. He's got the 1 gas taken. Come on, boys. Give us a good mid-late game. Anything to keep us excited here in game number 3.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of sad, Creighton. I'm a little bit sad that we're going to be done after this map. I hope it goes on for 6 hours. No, I don't. Please, no. Please.
It's going to be a 40-minute draw, and we're going to have to play a 4th game after this.
Oh,
you know, Grant,
so
I often get accused of bias. Every caster gets accused of bias. You know, and
biased.
I play random on the ladder, so I'm like I try to be as least biased as possible. But the one thing I will always admit to cheering for is a game 3. I always, in my heart of hearts, want to see these players who genuinely are evenly matched as all get out. Just amazing players on both sides here. I want to see them show their best games for their fans like they always want to. And a game 3 is always the best way to do it. So I am a happy caster no matter what happens here. And it does look like we are going to see pretty standard stuff here. Gateway, it looked like it was a Gateway Cyber into Nexus. And then, of course, we've got that Marine first for Cure. No Reaper this time. He's changing things up just a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. He wants to go for the CC on the low ground, and the Marine supports that just a little bit better. We're now going to see Cure build a bunker nice and quick. He's still going to play safe. You are still playing PartinG, and as we said, every series you win is $100. We are seeing this proxy go down. This is a prime position for a Stargate, I imagine, but it's PartinG, so it could be anything. He could go to the other side and drop a Robo. I do anticipate the Stargate, though.
I think that's a good call. And look at that, Grant. It's almost like you're a good caster. Oh my goodness gracious. Fantastic stuff. Stargate out for parting. Now, Grant, here's the real question. Stargate, is it going to be Void Ray, Phoenix, or Oracle?
Oracle, I'm quite confident it will be Oracle, but again, you can never be confident when you're commentating a PartinG game because he'll do whatever he wants. Oracle
why
makes
would an Oracle be most standard from this position, Grant?
Well, Void Rays are very good, but they're very, very slow, and if there's a Cyclone or something, it doesn't work, whereas an Oracle can escape. If you're going Void Ray and you're proxying it, typically you're doing it very, very close so it hits very early, and you're having a couple of batteries with you. We will take a look, though. It is going to be Oracle. That makes sense here. I mean, it's PartinG. It could have been Proxy Mothership for all we know. But no, that's not going to be the case. Oracle, maybe
somehow PartinG reaches into the game's code and builds a Mothership core, and you're like, what?
Oh.
What?
And then
that'd be sick.
And then he builds a pylon in his main and overcharges it. Don't hurt me like that. I missed the Mothership core. I'll say it, guys. I abused it.
It's a fun one. Now, Cure Grant has not seen this yet, so PartinG is going to sneak into his main base completely unexpected. And Grant, there's nothing here. No. There's no bunker. There are no Marines. And look, Cure's even made the mistake of not building a shield battery in his natural, Grant. What is he thinking?
Yeah, I mean, those Terran players need to get shield batteries. I don't know what they're playing at. Now we see this Oracle come in. It's going to get quite a lot of damage. Are you going to ever pull your workers, Cure? No? Okay, that's fine. Yeah, there we go. You know, fashionably late to the party. 5 workers going down. This is a great start for the Oracle. If he can get 6 and a 7th, PartinG will be extraordinarily happen. But no, unfortunately, it is just going to be 6 and a couple softened up. That depot has been slowed down too. Now the proxy has been seen, but this medevac has been seen. And there are actually Phoenixes already out on the map here. I'm not sure where the Phoenixes are. They're not at home, right? They're coming back.
They're zipping back home right now to deal with it. It looks like trying to block off the north side, when in fact this drop, as you said, coming down to the south side as well. So here's a chance for Cure. Man, I don't know why the Lord of the Rings references are coming out of me today, but a chance for Cure, son of Dragon Phoenix Gaming, to show his worth. Unfortunately, he's delayed just a little bit here, and the Stalkers are going to warp in. PartinG sees it coming, and this is really nice. As long as he pulls the probes out, shouldn't see too much damage from these Widow Mines at all. Beautifully done by PartinG, who's going to find himself with a significant advantage here in game number 1. Even gets the lift on that second Widow Mine, and cleans up fairly easily, Grant. This is great for PartinG, and he's going to Robo Bay behind this. I love his position in this game so far.
Yeah, Phoenix Colossus is the name of the game here from PartinG. Actually, relatively standard, all things considered. Proxy Stargate into Phoenix Colossus is not something you'd be surprised from stats or SOS doing. So, nice to see that he's capable of not just doing the shenanigans. He wants to show that he's got solid macro, even if it is a bit cheeky still. We see that third going down, 5.5 minutes in, a little later than probably he'd like it ideally, but of course he did enough damage, so he won't be disconcerted by any means. PartinG right now is continuing to make Phoenixes. There we go. There's the Twilight Council on forward, just what I was waiting for. And we're seeing a whole bunch of Widow Mines coming in here from Cure. Great, and he has 9, soon to have 11.
Yeah, I love that, Grant. Widow Mines are obviously a really interesting unit. We talked a little bit earlier in the series about output variability and what that means for StarCraft 2. And Widow Mines are one of those great units where you're just not quite sure how the randomness is going to shake out until they fire their shot. So it's really exciting, and it provides a lot of opportunities for Cure to come back. Obviously, PartinG defending very well against it right now, but look at this. Cure sneaking a Widow Mine in. Here. And if PartinG loses focus even for half a second, Grant, this is going to be an opportunity for Cure to make up for the mistakes of his past, for the failures of these previous drops, and he's continuing to drop like he's Maru in 2018.
Yeah, this is something Cure's been doing. We see it a lot in almost every matchup he plays. He just never stops dropping Widow Mines. Say that 5 times fast.
Cure star, never stop, never dropping.
Yeah, precisely. Hey there, I don't know. We will see...
Wrong reference, but close enough.
Yeah, I know. I got it wrong, didn't I? We will see this continuing. This Widow Mine does look like maybe it will get a hit. It's actually going to go on the Phoenixes, killing one, softening up the rest of them. Another one here going to be lifted. The Observer was just too far out of place. At this point, PartinG, just get a cannon, mate. Like, you know, when your opponent is doing this, good thing for PartinG is he's killing these, right? He's getting medevac kills. He's already moving into Colossus, and he knows his opponent is producing medevacs, so there's not going to be Vikings, theoretically. And PartinG is going to be pretty content, probably to push out with a couple of Colossus. The 4 Phoenixes he has, a whole bunch of Charge Zealots, a Prism, and it's going to be up to Cure to deal with this now.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The onus is now on Cure to not just defend, but to put together a reasonable defense against what he sees from PartinG. The good news about these Widowmine drops, even though they haven't done much, they have done a fair bit of scouting, Grant. Cure, for the first time in 3 games, has a fairly decent idea what he's up against. He's seen the Robo. He's seen the Robo Bay. He, I believe, has seen the Twilight Council and the Forge spinning as well. So Cure does sort of know what to expect, what to be ready for, and we see him responding here, grabbing these extra tanks, making sure his combat shield is in good shape. But the difficulty is still going to be dealing with PartinG's army that is just a little bit more diverse and a little bit more powerful, a utilitarian, or pardon me, a little bit more utilitarian than Cure's army is right now.
Yeah, and it's only going to get stronger as these extra gateways finish. We do see some workers going down up in the main to a drop here from our lovely Protoss player. He has the Phoenixes, sorry, not the drop, getting a few kills there. 6 is a lot too. Recall available to save these Phoenixes to support the Colossus going forward. And I'm very surprised we're not seeing like a Prism started up. There we go! For PartinG to just go. PartinG is certainly looking to put the pedal to the metal very, very soon and go for it. He's getting everything he needs. A whole bunch of gateways. 6 in production, puts him up to 12, Creighton. And that's higher than I can count, so...
Yeah, that's as many fingers as my Russian grandfather from Chernobyl has, so he can count up to 12 on 2 hands, but I certainly can't. The good news is, Grant, PartinG is moving out now as requested, and he's waited for just a little while. Look at his upgrades, fairly well synced up. Blink is going to be ready by the time this push hits. I wouldn't be surprised if he waited a little bit for +1 armor in addition to everything else he's got. Grant, do you want to tell the people back home why he's going for this +1 armor instead of +2 attack?
Yeah, +1 armor, just massively beneficial specifically to Zealots. 7 of those, 8 of those being warped in right now. They're already naturally very, very tanky once you get through the shields. They already have a good armor value. And if they can, you know, take a little bit less damage from every Marine shot, then they're going to last longer. Force the Marines to micro. When they're moving, they're not shooting. And that allows the Colossus to have just free reign over the ground units. Of course, Stalkers to and the Phoenixes to give support in the air, and that's the basics of why he's going for this. Now, the siege tanks are spread very well. The bio is spread impeccably. It's going to be very hard for PartinG to push up into. There are already a Viking or 2 out, Ghost Academy on the way, +2 weapons coming in for our Terran player, as well as +1 vehicle weapons. I don't think PartinG can push up here. I think he should be content going to 5 bases, Creighton, getting Storm, and playing this a little longer.
This is exactly what we saw PartinG doing in game number 2, Grant, but on a slightly grander scale. He's got a much larger army outside of Cure, and of course Cure's on 3 bases, not 2, but it's still the same story with a slightly different protagonist, Grant, where we see PartinG keeping Cure in on 3 bases, preventing him from expanding, showing a bit of muscle and saying, don't you dare try and fight me because I am here, and behind all of that, expanding so greedily, gobbling up bases like the very hungry caterpillar.
Yeah, I mean, this is a whole bunch of bases for PartinG. And his economy is very, very thankful for that. We do see our Terran player, though, off of free CC. He is able to get maxed. He is able to get Ghost and enhanced shockwaves. He can't really afford to go into, like, Mass Liberator as well from this spot. Or start dropping like crazy. He may aim to do that with just, like, 16 Marines or something along those lines. But PartinG has vision for days. Oh my god, actually, he has spotters everywhere. He sees the entire map right now. That is beautiful.
This is phenomenal. PartinG with a small amount of his units here on the west coast, a small amount of his units here at the 12 o'clock position as well. He's got Phoenix up in the top to make sure no drops come through. And the only place he didn't have something to specifically to stop drops was here on the far west side, where, look, he had an Adept seeing this push coming in all the time. So I'm not sure if he'll respond to it. He might suspect that his 4th base is safe enough with these 4 cannons and 2 shield batteries, but it looks like he is feeling very confident and might go for a little push here, Grant. I don't think this is advisable, though, as most of his army is tied up at different parts of the map right now.
Yeah, you can't walk up the ramp on death or PartinG did scout this, but I don't think he scouted this, if you know what I mean. He saw it, but he didn't see it. DT defensively, though, bish bash bosh, kills everything, and now these workers are free to get on with their day. We now see a whole bunch coming back here of Zealots to defend for PartinG. Maybe, yeah, a little bit too much there. Doesn't need to bring that much back. He can just warp in a DT, or just use those 3 disco balls here to do some damage. We can see that the Dark Shrine is going to be shot upon, and it is whirring, so with a Chrono Beast in it, so Blink DTs have been scouted, which is going to be nice for Cure. He's now noting these missile turrets everywhere. Cure, as he gets the 4th, is moving into Fusion Core. He will move into Advanced Ballistics and get Liberators, and we've got a very, very normal late game.
This is looking really good. Yeah, I like that both players are sort of adjusting here. PartinG going for a bit of an attack. This is a bit of strange attack here as Cure is able to defend this third very easily. Will be pushed away. But I love that Cure is already rotating, Grant. I like that you pointed out this fusion core and the additional starports that are getting put down right now for Cure. And of course, he's reactoring both of those up. Gonna go for Liberator Viking for the late game, which is a great choice, especially against the couple of Colossus that have been thrown into this fight forever. But Grant, look at the kills on these Colossus. 1 kill on each Colossus.
Yeah.
Simply not a good payoff right now, as PartinG has been containing rather than attacking for most of the game. And PartinG behind this, also rotating through his tech. We've got a Fleet Bacon up here in the main base and some Stargates coming down to join it. We're going to get in, I hope, to the very serious late game here. Both these guys have excellent late game. Don't think of PartinG as just a meme or Grant. We've seen it in the previous games.
No, he was a GSL finalist not even that long ago, right? Or semi-finalist? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Fleet Beacon coming in, those extra Stargates coming in as well. Maybe Tempest the best option here, but it's still PartinG, so we may just see him go straight into carriers as well. He is going to hold off for now as he is very close to max. Tempests are great because they can outrange, just kill Liberators. But of course, we started a carrier and cancelled it. You cheeky monkey. Instead opted to get a few more disruptors. Upgrades great across the board. Both players have 3/3 +1 air weapons coming in for PartinG. PartinG's going to get to the point now where his bank is going to really explode once he gets like 8 to 10 gases. It is extraordinarily free to just warp in a whole bunch of Stalkers and Zealots and send them everywhere. This one Oracle has been revelating for days, and it still survives. And even on the backside, the Stalkers are able to get a kill on a Viking. It has been keeping so much control over Cure's army. And when you're revelated like this, you just can't do much. And look, PartinG has so much defense. Playing like a Zerg in 2014 right now, getting the forest going. DT's going to start coming in. They're just better Zealots at this point almost. With Blink, they can close the distance. They do a little bit more DPS as well.
Sure.
Those revelations.
That Oracle's still alive. Truly one of the MVPs here. As you said, when you're revelated as a Terran player, it feels like you're in a pin, like you're wrestling somebody. They've already got like one arm, like an arm bar behind you or something. Just so difficult to move out, difficult to try and get the jump on your opponent. Most of Cure's build here is this bio tank style. And if you're playing bio tank, you've got to make sure you get a superior positioning on your opponent, right? The idea is to set up a tank contain, get some good tank shots. Oracle finally goes down. Wouldn't be surprised to see another one building here.
Oh my God,
but you want to get good positioning, good tank shots, good coverage, and Cure is not going to be able to do that if he's revelated. So far, though, good push here from PartinG in the third while Cure is distracted at the 12.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely like what's going on. Cure, though, is opting for nuclear missiles. He's going hyper late game. You mentioned something about Russia earlier, and they'd be proud of him right now. We can see already the nuke has completed, and the Ghost probably going to try and sneak out, just slowly escape. Does he have Ghost Cloak? No. Yes. He didn't go Banshees this game, did he?
No.
No. So honestly, at this point, I can't remember every tech.
It's nothing personnel kit, personal cloaking for those ghosts. Nice pickups there by Cure, by the way. I love these players. Oh, and then they get sniped. Of course, he loses one ghost in the medevac here. But I love that these players maintain this incredible micro Grant, even at the beginning of the game, all the way through the 15, 20-minute mark. I am constantly astonished by how fantastic these players' micro and positioning is, even as they get into managing 10, 12 control. I mean, you can't have that, but 47 control groups worth of army units. Somehow they're still on top of every bit here. PartinG trying to push into the third again. At this point, Grant, I don't think this is worth it for PartinG. There's really not that much here for Cure beyond the positioning.
The worth it is kind of a strange term right now because PartinG is loaded. He's he's at monocle money right now. He's just walked in 18 Zealots in one go, Creighton. So he can afford to throw a lot away. If he's killing things like Ghost, he knows his opponent has been expanding way slower than him. PartinG has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bases to just the 5 of his opponent. He is balling right now, wearing those Armani clothes. Disruptors as well, offering a constant threat. Every worker he kills is a worker he kills. It's if he gets a medevac, it's something else that Cure has to make, and PartinG just has more in the bank. Still no air units coming out, which is interesting.
Yeah, I think we should talk for a minute about these bases, because I know a lot of people are going to be like, well, it doesn't matter how many bases Terran has, because they have mules, and mules are broken, and everything's broken. This game sucks. But what's really more important about the bases is the coverage that it provides you on the map and the risk that it reduces for you long term. So if I only have one base on the map, if that base goes down, I lose the game. If I have 8 bases, I'm much more safe, and I don't have to be as aggressive about taking bases later in the game. By taking all of these bases now, PartinG is setting itself up for a very low risk late game where, sure, Cure can take out his 9 o'clock base. It could disappear off the face of the earth. He could nuke it for all I care. And PartinG has more bases ready to go just behind that. And he doesn't have to defend quite as much space and expand aggressively later in the game. I love this play from PartinG.
EMPs at this stage of the game are ridiculously good. They generate so much value, so much HP, if you see it in that way, is just decimated when those enhanced shockwaves EMPs hit all of those units, especially Zealots. Dark Templars, of course, become uncloaked, so that makes it easy. You don't have to waste a scan. Stalkers, Archons, all losing those shields. We're seeing a lot of Liberators come in right now. The army compositions are really shifting. There's really not many Marines on the field or Marauders. It is Ghost, Viking, Liberator. The nuke is still in the back pocket as well here for Cure, saving that one for a rainy day. Hopefully we'll get to see that one explode before this ends. Shield upgrades coming in for PartinG, maybe a little late. He had the money to get that a lot earlier, and here comes an engagement.
It's going to be a really nice fight from PartinG here, catching Cure sort of up against the backstop of his own army, and Cure not in position to deal with this, forced to land his Vikings on the north side. Now, of course, a lot of the Zealots did go down in that fight, but those are easy to replace. As you said, PartinG has that monocle money in the bank, and this is really good so far from PartinG, reinforcing Morts coming in here, and a beautiful purification over the north side. Cure looking very dangerous, or looking like he's in a lot of trouble, despite having a higher army supply tab.
Yeah, take a look at those EMPs. None of these units, literally none of them, have any shields left. But Cure has hemorrhaged his army. He has a decent supply if you look at it right now, but look how much is in production. 8 Marines, 5 Liberators, 3 Marauders, all not in the fight right now. It does look like Cure's going to hold on, but that was a lot of damage he didn't want to take. And as this is happening, PartinG is just moving up in other angles of the map. He's got so many Zealots warping in up to 27 at a time, Creighton. He has 27 gateways. I've never seen a game with more gateways.
That's beautiful and classic PartinG stuff. I love any PartinG game where you can be like, I've never seen a game where X, and PartinG's like, oh yeah? You've never seen a game where X? I double dog dare ya. Nice aggressive blink here from PartinG. Again, it does look like a little inefficient from PartinG. You're like, man, he's throwing away a lot of ground units here. Look at his bank, guys. 3K, 1K. Any trade he makes here is great because he knows that he's held Cure back onto an inferior economy for so long, and there's that massive 20+ warping of charge slots. PartinG's bank still 1K at least. That nuke still waiting, Grant. We gotta hope now that Cure can find himself a Maru-esque nuke to dig himself out of his hole.
Yeah, that's what he needs right now, as we do see the armies clattering together. PartinG, though, has actually just fell down in supply. He lost way too much there. EMPs and Liberators with his advanced ballistics doing so much damage. DTs continue to slice and dice their way through the forces here of Cure, and PartinG with a supply lead once again. This is a very strange game. Look how far up PartinG is on the map. He has every base that Cure does not have. And now finally, with the reinforcements, with our bank being spent, the monocle money is gone. No more interest, no more dividends. But the dividends will be PartinG looking like he's going to be able to move forward and take this game.
Yeah, for the last 10 minutes, PartinG has had an economic lead, at least the last 10 minutes based on the graph that we've seen here. So this is absolutely insane from PartinG, and now he's going to move in, cripple Cure's economy further, and Cure has got to feel like he's being strangled out little by little. He's taken some decent fights, but PartinG has had the luxury of not having to take efficient fights, right? It's that beauty when you're ahead in the game where you're just like, oh, I've thrown away a 3-to-1 supply lead in that fight. Nobody cares because I can just replace it immediately. And PartinG very wisely using that time to cripple Cure's army and to make sure his economy doesn't expand any further. Cure desperately trying to add on to this. He's got some more CCs, needs those orbital commands built right away, but of course, Grant, he can't afford to do so. He's under constant duress from Protoss.
He also can't take any bases. There are no bases left on the map to go and mass mule and to suddenly swell up an economy, as a Terran likes to do. A Terran likes to fight back, drop a base, mule it to the ever-loving heck, and then back and then remax. But Cure can't. He's trying to produce everything he can, but his bank is nothing. PartinG has just been mining so much more for so much longer. PartinG has been inefficient. There's no other way to put it. Supply and how he's been spending his supply has been nowhere near as efficient. He has not traded as well as Cure, but he is minted, as we say in the UK. He just has so much money. He's killing now these command centers. Every one of those 400 minerals that can't be replaced. And now we see the Zealot wrap around-ish. Nope, they're going to go elsewhere instead. Just look at these warpings. Just huge amounts of Zealots. My favorite unit in the game for the last game of the group stage here at Katowice for me and you, Creighton. And it looks like finally, it may just be coming towards an end. Or not?
Yeah, I mean, think to yourself, Grant, when was the last time you saw Cure on PartinG's, I was going to say half of the map, on PartinG's 3/4 of the map?
Yeah,
not once. PartinG has been blocking Cure in the entire game here. He's been playing defense, but you simply can't win a game on defense alone. It's just not enough. As PartinG continues to rampage through here. Again, Cure does have a decent army supply. Yeah. His army value is even with PartinG's, but this is just, I feel like a cat playing with a mouse before it just destroys it. PartinG on every single base, on 82 workers to 34. And at this point, Grant, it would take a Barry Manilow-style miracle. God, I love this. One of my favorite sites in StarCraft.
Same. I don't know what to say. We've been sitting here and we've been really bigging up PartinG for a long time, but my God, has Cure played this well. He has fought so valiantly. There's been so many times where we've seen 20 zealots warping in and just land next to it. That's always the best. Just mine together. We can have peace. No, Disruptor's coming back in now for PartinG as well. I think that will probably be what he sees as his victory condition. One thing I find hilarious in this game is that PartinG got +1 air weapons and then just never made an air unit after getting it. But how do you break this? Sure, you can EMP it, but the shields just get instantly charged up once again by all of his shield batteries. Actually, it's a pretty darn good fight. That's how you break this.
Yeah, well, I'm genuinely a bit concerned right now for PartinG, who, as you said, hasn't really remade any of the bulky units that he needs to this game. There are 0 disruptors on the field. There are 3 disruptors, but they haven't done anything this entire game. There are no Colossi on the field, and PartinG doesn't really have anything that can really close out the game. I think he's entirely on these ground units, and if Cure's bio sticks together, the DPS output of these Marines and Marauders is going to be not insignificant. So the game, I think, again, largely over. I feel like PartinG has had this in the bag for quite some time, but he hasn't taken the time to build up a big army of anything besides these gateway units, just relying on his micro to win in this game.
I kind of feel like PartinG's just having a bit of fun. And why not? You know, sometimes you just want to make 25 zealots at a time, but when the EMPs are that good, making 25 zealots at a time is not so good. There is the wraparound we've been looking for. EMPs can come down. Who cares? Because finally, PartinG has just too much on the ground. Disruptors in the back as well. Ghost dying. But it's not going to be enough here for Cure to take a relatively even fight. This is the base he so desperately needs, and he's not going to be allowed it. PartinG is going to close us out. He will win this series 2-1, barring an absolute miracle. But Creighton, the nuke's still in the tank.
Come on, Cure. We've seen it once. This IEM Katowice is a second miracle nuke. Too much to ask. Yes. I would love to see it, Grant. I just don't know if that's going to be the case. But yeah, not a single high-tech unit has been built by PartinG in the last 37 minutes this game. He's just on this very annoying Zealot Blink Stalker style. So Cure, we saw this a little bit in the previous game with PartinG and Ragnarok, where Cure is now playing whack-a-mole. Like he's taken out one base, but PartinG has 6 more behind it, and he's just like, yeah, I'll lose a base. And this is what we talked about a couple minutes ago, Grant, is that PartinG has not had to be as aggressive as Cure. So now that Cure is like out on the map, taking down bases left and right, PartinG can say, no, I'll wait for a good fight. I'll wait for the wraparound. No, go ahead. I'll fight you on the ramp. That's fine. Because PartinG knows he can do it.
Yeah, PartinG is still mining. If you take a look at those blue arrows on the ribbon at the bottom, he's still mining considerably more. If we look at income, it's 2,000 minerals a minute to barely 500. If a mule gets a hit, it may, look. This is the only mining base for Cure.
Yeah, there's just nothing left. This looks like my bank account after spring break in college. Just 2 sad little SC. I'm kidding, Grant. I wasn't cool enough in college to go anywhere for spring break. I was like working as a resident assistant because I needed the money and I was boring.
Yeah,
but you know, it was a good joke while it lasted.
I like that.
Anyway, we're going to see Cure stuck here in the top corner, avoiding PartinG's army. Cure knows the easiest way to lose this fight, or this game, is to go into a big 1v1 fight with PartinG, army versus army right now, because PartinG will tear him apart. But if Cure could sort of tiptoe around the map, maybe do a little more damage, I just don't know. That might be a way forward, but man, losing this base again, this is going to be brutally painful for Cure, who just can't get anything going this game.
Cure right now is mining 0 gas and 0 minerals. He's not mining. And now even a DT just going to come in, kill 1 unit. Can't be replaced when you've got no income. Cannons as well. Killing a unit or 2. Can't be replaced. And now finally PartinG has caught a big chunk of the army. Cure is trying to fight in the planetary. He's trying to counter-attack and super battery goes down. It doesn't matter. PartinG's up 100 supply. Now 80 supplies. He loses some. He's killing everything. The DTs, there's no answer. There's no scans. How many orbitals are left? 2. Okay, so there is still scans available. I think one is probably in the air. Somewhere else there. But there's no scans. There's missile turrets dotted about, but yeah, there's no way, I'm afraid, here. If you're a Cure fan, have an early night. Go have a bath.
And PartinG's realizing that, I think, as these DTs get a little bit more aggressive. I imagine we'll see PartinG warping in DTs at the expense of Stalkers or more Zealots, as he realizes that the scan capability for Cure is highly reduced right now, and DTs are going to be more and more effective. Again, Cure, I think at this point it's fair to say out of it. Well, yeah, at this point it's very fair to say he's out of it.